Sound, production number 1610, recording date the 7th of the 12th, 73, take 1.
I must be getting old.
It's very close this afternoon, Rose. Quite early. Oh, those cursed women again.
What women?
The suffragettes have smashed up the British Museum now. If they claim the right to vote like men, they ought to be flogged like men.
Oh.
What have you got there, Rose?
It's liniment for Mrs. Bellamy. Her back's feeling a bit better, but it still aches. You know, it was clearing out that box from that brought it on, in my opinion.
It certainly would. Something nice for our supper, eh, Ruby? What in heaven's name is that?
Well, it's for thickening the Irish stew, Mr. Hudson, for upstairs dinner. Only, well, I can't read Mrs. Bridges' recipe. Her handwriting's all falling over.
What can't you read?
Well, it says mix flour and add an ounce of summit. That word there.
Here, let me see. Mix flour and add an ounce of butter and rub well.
Oh, it's butter. Oh, I am daft. I thought it said bitter. So I poured in a jug of ale. I'll have to start again, won't I?
You certainly will, Ruby. Oh, never mind, my girl. Just soldier on. Mrs. Bridges will be up and about soon.
Oh, I'm sorry, madam. I'll be ever so careful.
Your hands. Oh, they're firm, but gentle. You'd make an excellent masseuse.
Oh, I don't know about that, madam.
It's quite the thing now, Rose. They began it in Sweden.
There. I think I've rubbed it well in. Shall I stop now?
No. Just another minute or two. It's very soothing.
Is it?
Very. Is Captain James in yet?
Not when I come up, madam.
I see. I expect he's been kept late at his office. Rose, have you written your letter?
Not yet, madam.
I think you owe it to Mr. Wilmot. Otherwise, he'll spend the rest of his life wondering why you changed your mind.
Well, I will write it if you think I ought, madam, but it's difficult if you know what I mean.
I do, but... Did you love him very much?
Yes, madam. Very much. Only I didn't realise it till after he'd gone. See, when he asked me to go abroad and everything, I didn't have the courage. Still, I expect I've done the right thing. I'm not sure. I'll never be quite sure.
Come in. I thought you were James.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right, Richard. Rose is finished. Thank you, Rose. You may come in now, Richard.
I'll just go down and see Ruby about your dinner.
Oh, tell her something very light. I'm not hungry.
Oh, it's Irish stew, madam, and she's been stewing it since 11 o'clock this morning.
Very well, Rose. And thank you for the massage. Richard, how kind of you to come up and see me.
Not at all. How are you feeling?
Oh, a little better, thank you. Dr. Page says I'm to rest for another day or two. So here I lie, helpless and useless.
Never useless, my dear.
I haven't been much use as a wife, have I? And still haunted by James's bewildered stare. When Dr. Page broke the news to him, he looked like a little boy who'd had his new toy taken away from him. And...
You mustn't feel like that. Nobody's to blame. It's God's will. You'll have another chance. Page told me there's nothing to stop you having twins next time. So you cheer up and let's change the subject, shall we?
Oh, yes.
Anyway, you're better off in bed than up and about. A bit more air, Oh, it's so warm and sultry out. Horrid.
Is it?
Yes.
How was your day?
Oh, somewhat frustrating. If we poor mortals can only influence events.
You mean we poor Tories?
No, I mean all men. We have the vote.
Yes.
Some of us have the chance of questioning and opposing the government policies. But events continue to gallop forward unchecked like stampeding bulls. There's nothing any of us can do to stop them. I sometimes think the future of our civilization is so grim and dangerous, I'd rather not face it.
Oh, Richard, you mustn't be depressed. One of us is quite enough.
I suppose so. All the same, there's little to be cheerful about.
I know.
The past has more to offer than the future. I rather think I'll write another biography. Tom Newton thinks I should. He suggested Lansdowne, if he doesn't do it himself.
Then I'll help you with the papers and type it out for you.
Would you?
Yes, of course. I did it before. Those were very happy days.
Ah, Miss Georgina Worsley. Writing letters. I didn't know you could write.
Bread and butter letters, wretched things.
Ah.
I put, Dear Lady Renham, thank you so much for my stays.
You left them behind in a drawer.
It was...
Such hell, and I loathed every minute of it.
Stop it, James, you're muddling me. Such fun, and I enjoy...
Spelled E-N-G-O-I-D.
Oh, shut up, I can't...
Georgina! Oh, my evening paper! Come here!
Oh, no, you
Oh,
don't.
yes, I do.
You can't catch me.
Yes, I can, and will you? Must be punished.
Oh, James!
Hudson, Miss Georgina seems to have crumpled
Your
the
fault.
evening paper. Better see if you can straighten it out or something.
I'll ask Rose to run an iron over it, sir.
If you would, Hudson, before my father comes in, he wouldn't... I don't want any crushed newspapers in my house.
Quite, sir.
Did you want something?
Oh, just about this evening, sir. I understand Mrs. Bellamy will be requiring dinner upstairs on a train.
I suppose so, yes, if she's still in bed.
She's still confined to her room, sir.
Well, in that case, it'll be just Mr. Bellamy, Miss Georgina, and myself in the dining room.
Very good, sir. Oh, the master is in, sir.
Is he where? Study?
I think he went up to see Mrs. Bellamy, sir.
Very well, Hudson. Dances, dinner parties, receptions, garden parties. All for the month of June. You're going to all of them?
I hope so. The dinners and dances, anyway.
Oh, you'll be a wreck. Your poor old toes will be black and blue.
No, they won't.
All those clumsy oafs who can't waltz properly.
Some of them can. Billy Linton waltzes perfectly. Anyway, I like going to dinner parties and balls and receptions. The only thing wrong with them is having to write endless bread and butter letters afterwards, thanking people. Especially with you breathing down my neck and putting me off.
You're a very lucky and rather spoiled little girl, aren't you?
Why?
All those parties.
Well, those cards aren't all for me.
Well, most of them are. Well, there's a musical evening at Lansdowne House for my father, and a lifeguard ball at Ranelagh for me, which I can't go to anyway.
Oh, why, James?
It's tomorrow evening, to dine with the new Brisen and go on to the ball. But Hazel won't be fit to go, you see.
No, I suppose she won't. Oh dear, you're missing all your old army friends.
Yes, yes, they'll be there in strength. Possibly my last chance of seeing them before I go back to India.
When will that be?
Well, if I accept the post in the new year, January 1915. I can mean a junior directorship.
That sounds terribly grand.
Yes, it'll be stinking hot and stuffy out there, like it is in London today.
I'll miss you. Poor old Jumbo.
You're not to call me that.
I'm
I dislike it intensely.
I'm sorry, I'll try and get myself out of the habit.
Better, unless you want another spanking.
I promise, Jump. No, I didn't say it. James, cousin James.
Step-cousin. I think you'd better get on with your thank you letters, don't you?
Yes, all right. Aren't you going up to see Hazel?
In a minute.
Will Mrs. Bridges be up soon?
I hope so, Daisy. I do hope so. Brandy, sir?
Thank you, Hudson. Georgina, a glass of brandy?
I'm not allowed it.
Who says so?
Nobody. I'm just too young for intoxicating drink.
Oh, you're out.
Coming out?
Out. The season's over halfway through. Hudson, offer Miss Georgina some brandy.
No, really.
If Georgina says she doesn't want brandy, she presumably doesn't want it.
All right, Hudson, don't offer Miss Georgina some brandy. Just leave it on the tray.
Very good, sir.
I promised Hazel I'd go up and play dominoes with her after dinner.
Oh, that would be much appreciated. It's tiresome having to be laid up.
Will she be up tomorrow?
I gather not. Gynecologist has decreed another day or two in bed. Isn't that so, James?
Yes, I believe he has.
Poor James missing the ball.
What ball?
Well, the lifeguards ball at Ranelagh.
When is that?
Tomorrow night.
Why can't you go?
I can't go without Hazel.
Why not, if she's in bed?
We were asked to dine with the Newberrys beforehand, Father. I've already refused.
Well, you could always look in at the ball. Or take Georgina, if she's not otherwise engaged, are you?
Tomorrow night? No. I was thinking of going to the Oscourt exhibition with a rather boring young man called Philip Merriman. But I don't have to.
Well, you could partner James.
Could I?
I can see no objection, if Hazel doesn't mind.
Ask her.
I will. I'm sure Bunny and Diana can still fit us into their dinner party. I'll telephone them.
Won't it be rather grown up? I mean, all older people.
Oh, not at all. Should be great fun. There'll be a lot of pretty girls there and all the officers of the household cavalry. Orders and decorations to be worn. And the regimental band will play out on the lawn, and we shall dance outside under the trees. I think there's to be a firework display at midnight.
It sounds terribly exciting. May I go upstairs now? I must see about something to wear.
Yeah, go on.
And don't forget the game of dominoes with Hazel.
No, I won't.
Hudson, will you put me through to Lady Newbury? A good idea of yours, Father.
Yes. Look after her, won't you? I mean, Ranelagh on a warm summer evening. All those chaps full of champagne.
Oh, of course I'll look after her. Just hope the weather holds. Hello? Diana? James, listen, slight change of plan. I've decided to go to the ball at Ranelagh tomorrow evening after all. No, with Georgina. Can you still fit us into your dinner party? Splendid. How's Bunny? Is he? I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Oh, she'll be rather a jolly evening. A pity Hazel can't come. Morning. Popped in on my way to work. See how you were.
Better, thank you.
You got everything you need? Books, newspapers?
Yes, thank you.
Are you sure you don't mind my trotting off to this wretched ball tonight?
Of course not. Oh, you'll enjoy yourself. See all your friends.
Yes. Well, I must be off. I shall be late.
James, Dr. Page told Richard that I still could have children. Did you know?
Yes, he told me too.
There's nothing wrong, you see.
Yes, that's splendid news, isn't it? Well, I must be off.
Why do we have to be all covered in powder just to go to a ball? In case you perspire. Wouldn't be very nice waltzing around with your back all shiny, especially in this weather. Well, the young men perspire terribly in their starch collars and stiff shirts, but they don't have maids to put powder all over them. Well, young men don't show so much fair skin like ladies do. Yes, I see. That feels terribly nice, all sort of tingly, especially on my neck. Does it? Mrs. Bellamy said last night she thought you might have healing powers in your hands. Did she, miss? She says she's done wonders with her back. Oh, that's not me. That's time and rest. I'm not a magician, miss. Must be terribly sad to lose your first baby. Any baby, really. Yes. Just finish doing you up, and then I'll start doing your hair. Thank you, Rose.
Not much to show for nearly 10 years in the army, eh, Hudson?
10 years of comparative peace, sir, militarily speaking.
That's true. Now, Grandpapa had at least a dozen of these things on his chest last time I saw him all dressed up. For a court ball, I think it was. I remember Elizabeth and I being called down in our dressing gowns to see them go off. He was simply covered in medals. Of course, a lot of those were foreign orders.
That would have been the summer of 1890, sir, the year of Lady Southwold's illness.
Probably.
There was always a war on somewhere in Queen Victoria's reign, sir, when Lord Southwold was young.
Yes, the Empire needed keeping in order then, more than it does now.
Quite, sir.
You know, I sometimes think these black fellas are more civilized than some of these European races. All these Serbs and Croats and Slovenes and chaps like that. Thank you, Hudson. Oh, by the way, would you ask Rose to make up my bed in here again tonight?
Very good, sir.
I shall be quite late, I expect. And you don't want to disturb Mrs. Bellamy more than necessary.
Very good, sir.
Thank you, Hudson. Oh, my goodness, look at you.
Will I do?
You most certainly will.
I'm terribly nervous.
Well, you shouldn't be looking like that.
I shan't know anyone.
I shall introduce you.
If you see me stuck in a corner by myself, you will come and rescue me.
Rescue you? Oh, I should think I shall have to. When my brother officers catch sight of you, I shall have to fend them off with my fists. Unhand that maiden, sir, for she is my late mother's brother's stepdaughter. Unhand her, I say, I shall run you through with my trusty sword, which, incidentally, is still in a wardrobe full of mothballs along with my uniform.
Oh, you're so funny. I do love you, Jumper.
So, what did I say about calling me that?
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting.
Your taxi is here, sir.
Thank you, Hudson. Along, Georgina. Let us step into our hackney cab and take Ranelagh by storm. Hudson.
Thank you, Rose.
Good night, Rose. Hudson.
Good night, sir. Good night, miss.
Good night.
Oh, you have your key, sir.
Thank you.
Aye, they'll make a handsome pair at the ball.
He don't look like a young husband whose wife just lost their firstborn child.
Young gentlemen, Rose, especially officers, are trained to conceal their true feelings. A tradition necessary in the field of battle, lest the men should sense their officer's fear or anxiety and lose heart.
If I was a man and my wife had just had a miscarriage, I'd either sit by her side or stop in my own room crying my eyes out, not go gallivanting off to some ball.
You are not a man, Rose.
No, I'm not, am I?
Or if you're going up, you might just pop in and see if Mrs. Bridges needs anything.
Oh, I popped in earlier and her head's still spitting, so I'm going to take her a couple of tablets later.
If tears dropped into a trunk were charms to preserve its owner from sorrow and misfortune, Nicholas Nickleby would have commenced his expedition under most happy auspices. There was so much to be done and so little time to do it in, so many kind words to be spoken and such bitter pain in the hearts in which they rose to impede their utterance, that the little preparations for his journey were made mournfully indeed.
Come in.
Oh, excuse me, madam. Hudson was wondering if Mr. Bellamy could come downstairs for a moment. Only Mrs. Bridges is worse. She's running a temperature, and Hudson thinks she ought to see a doctor.
Well, of course she must. I'll telephone Dr. Foley at once. Tell Hudson I'll be down directly.
Very good, sir.
I must go and see to her.
Hazel, get back into bed at once.
No. It's my duty. I should be there.
Hazel, you're not to get up. Dr. Foley forbade it. You'll only make yourself worse.
Richard, I'm in charge of the household. If the cook is ill, I must go and see to her.
Now, Hazel, get back
Please,
into bed.
Richard.
Do as I say. You're in no fit state to
Richard,
get...
let me go. Please let me go.
I
must go.
forbid it. I forbid it, Hazel.
Do you?
I've looked after Mrs. Bridges. After all, I've been responsible for things in this house for a number of years.
Yes. You are still the master, aren't you?
Come on, get back into bed. In you get. There's a good girl. Do you allow me to look after you? Someone's got to. What are you doing down here at this hour?
Just making some hot lemon and cinnamon for Mrs. Bridges. It's a chill she's got, and Dr. Foley said she ought to have it.
Oh, the poor soul. How is she?
Better. Her temperature's gone down to 99, and she managed to get down some oxo and a dry biscuit. There. I'll take it up to her now, whilst it's nice and hot.
Oh, it's getting on for one. Captain James and Miss Georgina are not returned yet, have they?
No, they have not. And I don't suppose they will, not till dawn. Good night, Mr. Hudson.
Good night, Rose. I'll see to the light.
Terribly thirsty, aren't you?
Shh, wake that whole house.
Sorry?
Yeah, there should be some barley water on the grog tray.
Where?
In here. Here we are. Don't have to whisper now. Don't talk too loud.
Dear, it's 4:30. I don't think I've ever been up as late as this before.
You've got to start somewhere.
Yes.
There you are.
Oh, thank you, James. I'm parched.
Thirsty work dancing. Especially if you dance everyone on the card. As you did.
Did I? Yes, I suppose I did.
Well, you certainly were the belle of the ball. Should have claimed a dance or two for myself before we set out.
I'm sorry, James. I did try to keep a dance free for you. But you always seem to be having such a jolly time, laughing and joking over at the buffet. I seem to dance all the time with the young men, the subalterns. You know, I only had one captain, and he squeezed me so hard my body stuck into me. His name was Rupert Booth Taylor. He said he knew you, sir.
Yes, the adjutant of the Blues. He's rather inclined to squeeze debutantes too hard.
I think he was about your age.
Why do you say that?
Well, you didn't think I was too young to dance with?
Are you suggesting that I did?
James.
Well, why do you think I took you to the ball as my partner if it wasn't to dance with you?
And why didn't you?
I was just going to, and then I saw you stifling a yawn. I thought it was time to take you home.
That was only because that boy with red hair was telling me how he landed a 12-pound salmon on the spay. He went into every gory detail.
Yes, well, perhaps there's another reason I didn't ask you to dance. But I'm not sure that I should tell you.
Oh, but you've got to. You're not allowed to keep secrets from step-cousins.
All right, I'll tell you. If you insist, it's because...
Yes?
It's because if I had to take you in my arms in order to dance with you, I'm not sure that I could trust myself not to kiss you, not as a young step-cousin of barely 18 should be kissed, affectionately, on the cheek like this. But as one would kiss a beautiful young woman of whom one is growing dangerously fond. Like this. And now, as we were denied our dance at the ball, which was entirely my fault, I admit it, I should like to ask you formally, Miss Worsley, if you're not otherwise engaged, for the pleasure of the next waltz.
Enchanted. That was fun.
Ah, I heard voices. Thought it must be you.
It's all right, Father. We haven't been pinching the silver, have we?
No,
Georgina was thirsty, so I thought we'd have a nightcap.
Quite right, too. Enjoy yourselves?
very much. It was a lovely ball.
I'm sorry if we woke you, Father. We tried not to make too much noise.
I was awake, couldn't sleep. Heavy, close atmosphere.
Yes.
Well, I expect Georgina wants to get to her bed, and you have to...
However long you may have been in service here, you have no right to speak to me like that. You're forgetting your place, my girl.
My place? I'm beginning to wonder what that is sometimes.
Well, I can tell you what it is not. It is not to spend your days in young Mrs. Bellamy's room, gossiping with her, handing out tittle-tattle about what goes on in the servants' hall, or between Captain James and Miss Worsley or anything else. Your place is to respect the master and Captain James as your employers, and get on with your job as you did before.
My job is to look after Mrs. Bellamy now.
You are the head house parlourmaid here, Rose. Your duties are not exclusively with Mrs. Bellamy. Just because she's either too tight-fisted or too unsure of herself to engage a lady's maid, there is no call for you to lie in her lap like a pet poodle. She is quite capable, my view, of looking after herself.
That's a cruel thing to say. She needs me and you're jealous.
And what?
Jealous of her and me, because she likes me and she knows what you'll think of her.
Now that's a lie.
I'm not a liar.
Be quiet, Rose, and watch your tongue.
Stop it, please. Stop. Where have you been hiding yourself?
What's the matter, girl?
Yes, come on, what is it?
Will it be all right to sit down?
Yes, Daisy. Come on, sit down, for heaven's sake. Pull yourself together.
Come along, tell Mr. Hudson what happened.
It's just, I heard you and Mr. Hudson rowing. I couldn't help it.
Eavesdropping.
Leave her, Rose. Go on, girl.
First of all, it's Captain and Mrs. Bellamy. Going for each other, all angry. Done it in the kitchen. And then it's you and Rose, Mr. Hudson. I've never known you and Rose have words all the time I've been here. It's like everyone in the house is fighting and rowing and Mrs. Bridges took sick and this hot weather and everything. I just don't feel safe anymore, Mr. Hudson. I'm frightened.
I think we're all affected by the close, airless weather, Daisy. It tends to put us all on edge. Makes us bad-tempered and irritable.
Yes, Mr. Hudson.
As soon as the storm breaks and we have some thunder and lightning and the cooling rain comes, perhaps things will be somewhat calmer. We'll stop quarrelling among ourselves and live together in harmony again. Close the ranks, eh, Daisy? If you know what I mean.
Yes, Mr. Hudson.
Oh, it would be a strange household indeed if we didn't have a wee bit of conflict and strife from time to time, as any enclosed community must. So run along, my girl. Get things ready for supper, eh? And Daisy, try to be cheerful. Here's a little ale, eh?
Yes, Mr. Hudson. Thank you, Mr. Hudson.
Well, I'd best get upstairs and put out the latest things for dinner. I understand they're all dining in tonight, the four of them.
Yes, Rose, I gather they are. Just the four of them.
I'm afraid I'm not very good.
Well, you learn very fast, my dear.
I keep breaking all the rules.
It's only family bridge, Georgina. We mustn't take it too much to heart.
It doesn't matter who wins or loses, as long as we all enjoy ourselves. Isn't that so, Father?
Yes, I suppose so, James.
A breakfast at the usual time in the morning, madam.
Yes, please. 8:30 in the dining room? Thank you, Hudson. Good night.
Good night, madam.
Hudson, good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, I'm stifled.
Yes, it's hotter than ever tonight. I open the window a bit wider. Here, catch! Sorry, down there by the lamppost. Good luck. Three chaps. One blind, two on crutches. Wounded in South Africa, I suppose. Reduced. You recognise the tune?
Cards are dealt, James. Would you care to pick up your hand? Prepare for the fray. Whew. It's been the 80s tonight.
It can't last much longer. Can it?